I'm actually going to, for one of the first times, read from something that I've written just to help keep myself on task. You know, I do tend to ramble. So Liam Elgin Douglas Rattray, my son. That's why we're here today. And I know that as I speak, I'm going to be trying to thread a needle wearing boxing gloves, so bear with me. I mean, there's no way words can describe how we all feel. And, looking at all of the emails we've received this week and the outpouring from the community, we understand that and we feel it. He was a beautiful baby, a true bundle of joy sent to earth, sent to us. Just a gorgeous baby. As a toddler, his inquisitiveness could not be restrained, too many syllables in that word. As a child, his curiosity and his imagination ruled the world. I mean, he was a wild kid. The tween Liam, he was serious, he was studious, he was a reader. There wasn't any Britney Spears for Liam. He just didn't exist. As a teen, rockets flew, robots reigned, and his passion and determination surfaced, came out. We began to realize the kind of person he would ultimately become. But the man in him, the man that arose over the past several years, well, he really began to change the world. One person at a time, one issue at a time. And actually, as we all know, it wasn't one issue at a time. As we discovered this week, it was 50 issues at a time. He was a busy guy, a really busy guy. We now understand why sometimes we wouldn't see him for a couple of weeks. I remember years ago, and this is an embarrassing story for me, but I'm prepared to admit it. We were at the breakfast table, and he said, Dad, if you had one wish, what would you do with that wish? And I remember sitting there thinking, is it going to be a Ferrari? Is it going to be a Lamborghini? I wasn't quite sure what type of fancy car we'd go ahead, I'd get with my wish. So I decided a Ferrari. They were nice cars. I've always wanted one, be very good. And I asked him what he wanted. And he said, Dad, I would change the world. I felt like a heel. What am I thinking? He was 7 at the time. And at the age of 7, he started teaching me. So we've got a lot of emails about how Liam changed their lives, how he moved them. He started doing that to me way before y'all. So, sorry. He's been working on me a long time. But what I'd like to do, because really the emails and everything we've heard from his friends have meant so much to us, I'm just going to read some extracts from some of the emails that we've received. I think that's the best way to honor him. So I hope not too many people after me will be reading some of these, because I'm doing it first. So Laurel said, I cannot imagine a better word to describe Liam than a visionary. His passion, his devotion were remarkable, and his passing is a true loss. Sean said, when most people in class sit idly by to wait for time to pass, Liam intently hung on every word of the professor and was always engaged in some sort of debate that would change about the current state of the world. Liam's passion and drive are something that I will try to incorporate into my own life and I appreciate Liam setting that example. You can imagine the tears when we read that. I mean, him truly affecting people's lives. Rebecca said, Liam did not merely talk the talk, he lived what he believed. He acted what he stood for, and that is something that the world needs more of. Truth, authenticity, passion. Liam embodied every ounce of those words. I only had one class with Liam while at Tech, but he definitely is not someone any of us will forget. And for the right reasons, apparently, which is a good thing. Aaron said, Liam was an incredible person. He had already begun to change the world in ways most people cannot do in a lifetime. And we feel this. We're looking at the 23 years he had, and what he did in that time. I mean, it's amazing. He made me take notice of the impact on the world and made me want to be better. You can't ask for more. He was annoyingly intelligent. I'll repeat that. He was annoyingly intelligent. We've all been there with Liam. And not someone you wanted to get into an argument with. Again, we've all been there. He was genuine and kind. Our community and the world has lost a truly brilliant thinker and an urban farmer. Tara said, by the way, this is about 35 pages long. Okay, it's not. Tara said, Liam was an incredible person that left an impact on every other person and community he interacted with. We worked together on sustainable food projects at Tech, and it always amazed me how he found ways to fight for our dreams and ideas to come to fruition. I know that his good spirits will continue to live on through our friends and myself to keep the stamina and ambition of his life alive. Sarah said, I know I could speak on behalf of the graduating class of 2011 when I say that it was an honor to share many classes with Liam during our 4 years at Tech. As everyone has said before me, this intense passion was inspiring. He put his heart, his soul, his mind into every class period, every project, every debate, and that's something that all of us could learn from. Sounds like he was kind of sucking up to the teacher and the professor, if you ask me, but that's okay. Nathan said, I'm so terribly sorry about what has happened to Liam. He was such a brilliant, wonderful person, and he impacted so many lives here in Atlanta. And just to build on that, we talked to Liam when he was leaving university and finishing and said, go out, go to Japan, go to China, go to South America. He's traveled widely, but go see more. And he thought about it for a couple of weeks and he said, Atlanta. He really felt this tie to Atlanta. And it was his home. He loved Atlanta. So it really amazed us just how strongly he felt about the city and about changing the city. I've never known someone who worked so hard every day to make this world a better place. His heart was just gigantic. Cameron said, Liam is an exceptionally bright, talented young man that I honestly believe would make a difference in this world. His life and the things he did and said inspires me to examine my life and my goals and to put energy into where my heart is and fight for what I believe is right and beautiful in this world. In that way, he was a person of immense value, and I greatly mourn his loss. Carly said, I'm so sorry for the loss of Liam. I can't even express it in words. I guess they're wearing boxing gloves as well. We were not always the closest of friends, but I have him to thank for helping me become the person who I am today. He did more good and inspired more people in his short life than most people do who live to be 80 years old. And that's something we've begun to realize this week as we've received the messages from y'all. To say that I will miss him is a terrible understatement. His spirit lives on, and his legacy will persevere and continue through all of us. I personally vow to do everything in my power and to the best of my ability to honor this absolutely rare, noble, compassionate, vital, humble, genius spirit of a man that once occupied this physical dimension with us. Just ask yourself, what would Liam do? Not one of us could ever possibly hope to fill the void where Liam once was, but together we can make the kind of difference that Liam aspired to make every waking moment of every day. I mean, what a beautiful sentiment. There was one I've added, an email that I received this morning, which caused a few tears and a little bit of reflection at the breakfast table. This is from Martha, who's known Liam a long time. I have written and rewritten this letter all week, but I can neither find the words nor stop the tears. But the sun has risen in London after another sleepless night, and Saturday has come. I learned of Liam's death while at Hartsfield Airport just before boarding my flight to London and embarking on a trip across Europe, my last vacation before graduate school. Since that moment, I have been crying incessantly, continuously reminded of Liam and his impact on my life. 17 years. I have known few people longer. Liam was my first friend at Briarlake, and I won't forget when we met on one of the first days of first grade and when him and I were escorted out of class to get a tour of the school and to be introduced to the assistant principal. Or when he and Eduardo danced to Chumbawamba's I Get Knocked Down. And what comes next? But I get up again. That's what we all have to do, is get back up again and continue fighting. Or PE, for PE. Or when kids teased us for being Bill Rattray and Martha Lewinsky, in light of the Clinton affair, because we both liked each other but wouldn't admit it. Or when we signed, they did signing, American Sign Language, at the Super Bowl alongside Faith Hill. Although we have grown apart since Briar Lake, Liam continued to amaze me. The year he initiated and led the biodiesel reactor project for SEMA was my favorite year of the program and my first introduction to alternative fuels. I never thought us students could influence the themes of the programs, and here he was, creating a program from scratch, inviting guest speakers, seeking donations for a truly hands-on project, and organizing a successful public event that engaged everyday citizens. His drive, creativity, and action were unlike anyone I've ever met. When we were both voted for most intellectual as our senior superlative at Lakeside, I thought it was such a mistake. For me to be even grouped with him seemed too much of an honor for me and a disservice to him. Martha's a genius, by the way, so she's being very modest here. And I won't forget the conversation I had with him on the second floor of the GT Library, having randomly run into him and learning of his recent change to public policy. He made me question my motivations and inspired me with his passions and ideas. Liam was incredible. So all I can kind of add to this, I mean, the words have been amazing, and really as a family, they've gotten us through this first week. We loved Liam as a baby. We loved Liam, the toddler. We loved Liam, the child. We loved Liam, the tween. We loved the rocket and robotic Liam. But we especially loved Liam, the man. And we always will. Thank you.